phone, everything you would expect somebody to have, but she and her then approximately 3-week-old baby Margot were gone. No sign of them. Then we'll just fast forward to late last night. For some reason, authorities were put on a house in Northwest Harris County, just a few blocks east of the Jersey Village neighborhood. Rolling Fork is the name of the neighborhood where they showed up at this home. And there, inside a vehicle, in the trunk of a vehicle parked around back, they found a body. And inside the home, they found an infant girl. Heidi Broussard's mom has confirmed to our CBS station in Austin that the body was Heidi and that the child found was Margot. Margot, okay, taken to a hospital to be checked out overnight, but we're told unhurt and now in the legal custody of CPS, the state of Texas. There's a woman in custody facing charges of kidnapping and tampering with a corpse. She has not yet been arraigned. We're told her name is Megan Firamuska, 33 years old, from the Houston area, a close friend of Heidi's, and according to sources, had plotted to take Margot from Heidi even before Margot had even been born. She was so close to Heidi that she was there for the birth, and now in police custody. Police telling us they believe that she may have had help. The person who did this may have had help. Megan Firamuska has not been charged with murder. She's been charged in connection with the death, kidnapping and tampering with a corpse, but nothing more serious than that yet. And that's typical in a lot of these cases. So not unusual in that respect for charges to start off like this and then get more serious as the investigation continues. It's 11:30. We're going to let you go here. We don't have any new information that's come in the last several minutes. The Village neighborhood, Rolling Fork is the name of the neighborhood where they showed up at this home. And there, inside a vehicle, in the trunk of a vehicle parked around back, they found a body. And inside the home, they found an infant girl. Heidi Broussard's mom has confirmed to our CBS station in Austin that the body was Heidi and that the child found was Margot. Margot, okay, taken to a hospital to be checked out overnight.
Absolutely.
But we're told unhurt and now in the...
Wow. Hold on a second. I gotta switch screens.
And we know the holidays are next week.
I know.
You know, and that is so tough on all of these families. But they've got to do their jobs at the end of the day.
But there's no time frame.
There's no time frame.
We don't know if it's possible that Margot could be back with a family member in time for Christmas. Not that the baby knows any different, but but you know, I mean.
But it gives them peace of mind.
For the other family, sure.
A grandmother, grandfather, if they check out, of course they want that child with them. You know, and I did look a little bit into the policy procedure manual, and they do say typically, you know, it's a 30-day process. But in situations like this, you know, everything changes. You know, they're moving faster. They're doing this investigation, doing the interviews, doing the home inspections. You know, they want this child to be with family.
Yeah, this went to the top of the pile, right? The top of the list.
Absolutely.
Or CPS, something that...
And let me check my page as well, because I've posted here. I've had some questions.
There's so much interest in this, Cheryl. We're trying to answer people's
No, that wasn't my
questions as we go
phone.
along here.
Absolutely.
They're coming up with great questions.
KHOU has done the best coverage by a mile.
We don't mind revealing that.
Yeah, you know, and it's, you know, CPS has to be very careful with what they release because in the past, in the investigations that we have done, those cases involve child fatalities. Well, this is different. We possibly have the mother here who is deceased, and so the information they can release is sensitive, and they can't release a lot of it.
Yeah, this is a weird one, everybody. See, this is just like how crazy it was with that other case earlier in the year where the lady goes over to somebody's house to look for baby gear, stroller, whatnot, and then gets the baby cut from her stomach. And what's weird about this case is I don't think I don't know if it's her husband or boyfriend of Megan. I don't think that person even knew anything about it. I think it sounds like she may have pretended she was pregnant the whole time, and now we're exactly like the Homicide Hunter episode with Joe Kenda. It's almost absolutely identical to that case, other than there was no murder in that one. But it's absolutely identical. In that case, they had a woman who was living with the guy. She wouldn't have sex with him or anything, and she'd always wear a pillow to make it look like she was pregnant. And he believed it the whole time. I mean, it's crazy. And she abducted a child from somebody else. But they were able to... Joe Kenda, obviously, went and... yeah, this is definitely going to be a movie about this one. Yeah, I like Joe Kenda because he kind of reminds me of me. You know, the way he talks. You know, where he just says what he thinks instead of worrying about, oh, wow, did I say that right? You know, it's just say whatever the hell you're thinking. I mean, don't, you know. You know what I mean. Yeah. So it looks like they're not quite, it's not live yet because it doesn't start for 7 minutes. This is a live broadcast on KHOU, but it's not the press conference. So what do you guys think of this? What's going on here? Crazy, huh? Yeah, and so what's funny about last night is all the people that were doing this sensationalistic approach to it, trying to say, "Oh my God, it's the husband! It's the husband! Oh my God, look at the way he said this! Look at the way he said that!" Bringing on friends onto their show so they can all bash the husband over and over again. And then you see comments today in the chat saying, "Great sleuthing, people." Really? Great sleuthing, right? You bash the person into oblivion, and it appears that he might not have anything to do with it whatsoever. And you nitpicked every single way he said anything because you're all experts now because of the Chris Watts case, right? And then later on, there was breaking news that everybody got. So I'm trying to figure out where the sleuthing was. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, and we all had the name Megan inside the chat, but I wasn't going to be talking about it out loud because law enforcement hadn't confirmed that yet. Okay. Right. But this situation is very different. You know, we've got an infant here who's 1 month old. Yeah, I did think it would be solved quickly. Who cannot tell the story. You know, I did have scenarios where you can think that Shane did it. I mean, I have written down that, okay, maybe this, maybe that, but I've always fall back on he seems to have genuine emotion. He did. And then he also, I did say that you can have emotions for other things too that are brought out. But that's it. You know, I wasn't sure at all, so I never said, "He did it, everybody." That never came out of my mouth.
We talked to a couple of neighbors out there today, and about one woman in particular had quite a bit of
yeah. I just, you know, the odds are in a scenario like this that in general it turns out to be a domestic issue. It was pretty obvious that it was somebody that she knew from the get-go. Yeah. So I'm just kind of monitoring over here on the left. And if it goes live here in a minute, it should.
No. She moved in later. She hasn't been with... He had another lady...
Hey, thanks, Jim Bino.
And then he was single for some time, and then this young lady has been here at least a year.
Yeah, it's horrible.
No, I don't. That's just the thing.
But I hope some of these, you know, the newbie YouTubers, I know that they won't change because it really gets some views. I mean, you're talking 2,000 people.
Gray.
You know, you can get 2,000 or 3,000 people on your show if you sit there and you
My neighbor called me earlier
use
today.
sensationalism and say something's true when you don't even know yet. Oh my God, yeah, he did it. Oh my God, everybody, look at this. Oh, look at those. You have a friend on every 2 minutes. Every other word that they say is something negative about some guy, and then right in the middle of the show, oh my God, we were all wrong.
Any idea what this was about?
No, I thought maybe.
But it sells. But I'll never be doing that, so I'll always grow slower than those people.
What are your thoughts?
It's just very upsetting to think,
Yep.
you know, someone could do that. But and
Right.
I've been watching,
Well,
I've been
they weren't
following
speculating, though. That's the
her
difference.
story as being, you know, having been missing.
And the thing is, what we like to do on this
What
channel is
will kinda happen
speculate
to
on
them.
fact.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
So if you have facts,
You
you
know,
place them all
practical.
out together, you get kind of a timeline,
Well,
location,
for babies'
and
sake,
then
you
speculate.
know, but still very upsetting.
Because then you'll have a reasonable speculation. And that's why I wasn't able to really do anything. I was wondering if maybe they got in an argument over the buying
I'm
something
from
and money was...
Austin. I mean, I'm from
you know.
LaGrange, and Austin is, you know, all that. So it just really sparked my.
Here's what I think. I think some of the stuff is true. I think that Shane, in those interviews, I think it sort of revealed that there's a little bit of a money issue that they had, and that he was overselling how great everything was because he wasn't sure. He knew that he didn't have anything to do with it. So she could have left, he was thinking, with somebody else. So he was putting out all this really positive things, how awesome she was and everything, or is at the time, and hoping that she would come back or something like that. That's what it felt like to me. But I think as time went on, what does that mean? Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus, Pear Tree. What does that mean? Are you okay? Right. You don't think that that's reality? Yeah, I think it's 100% that he was out there trying to pump her up a little bit so that maybe she would be willing to come back if she'd left in an argument. Because I think they really did get in an argument. But who knows at this point. Yeah, it was her first time out with the, after giving birth, first time taking the child out. You know, it's funny when you get people like Pear Tree coming in here. You don't even know what they're talking about when they say, "Oh, geez, Gray." Really? Well, what are you referring to? So give me a clue. Like type in a sentence that might actually mean something.
Or he may still be in Austin.
And people are asking as well about the DNA test.
Thank you,
When is that
Apocalypse
going to
Fro,
happen? We
or
understand
Fra,
that process is underway
as in
now.
Fraulein.
Yeah, the
So-
DNA, did we mention that before? That
Woman.
authorities are doing a DNA
My
test
gosh.
on the child they found, just to confirm that it is indeed Margot.
Always
Absolutely.
appreciative of your objective analysis.
Yeah. Well, she went to the bookstore, and it sounds like they think she made it back to the apartment complex. So was the friend sitting there waiting for her, or did she show up at some time? I wonder, it feels like a gun may have been involved. In terms of, how would you control somebody, get them out of their apartment? So I do have a bet with Laura that she thinks they were killed separately, and then one was removed. Is it playing live right now? Let's see.
But we will keep it up there.
Surely
So-
some important information coming out.
Yeah,
of
like they
this.
were removed
A lot of
separately.
people
One
wanting
was
to know
taken and
any
then went back
update,
later.
and
I think they
we'll
were
find
both
out
together
here
at the
as
same
far as the
time.
investigation is concerned and who they've spoken
Stun
with
gun.
and how their interview process is going.
Right, this is so early in the investigation.
It is.
We don't know how much information they'll be willing to
Oh,
release
shush,
at this
Pear
point.
Tree.
Law enforcement is generally
You're
pretty
the type that
reluctant
doesn't
to,
last long around here. I can tell.
speculate
Especially,
on this case.
especially when we have an infant involved here. This is just, And, and again,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
just so
okay.
hard and so tough when you
This
have
is the right channel.
a child here who's so delicate and cannot speak a word and can't tell what happened yet.
Right.
You know, and probably will never remember. We're hoping.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
would be the best part of this.
Absolutely.
So as we wait for this here, let me just kind of recap here. Hold on one
I'll be
second.
transferring it over to that other screen. as soon
Heidi
as-
Broussard disappeared December 12th in Austin. She had dropped off a child at an elementary school near her home. We believe that was possibly Shane Carey's child from another relationship, a little bit older child, again, grade school age. Surveillance video has her in that school between 7:30 and 8 a.m. on December 12th, and then that's the last time anybody saw her.
That's it.
That we know. She
I heard something different than
disappears.
that,
We believe she
Pamela.
got back home but disappears.
That she
Neighbors don't
said
see
she
her
was
do
having
anything.
a boy, and then
Her
at the last minute
phone,
changed
her
it to
wallet,
a
her car
girl.
keys, her vehicle are all still at her house. So she just vanishes along with Margot on December 12th. Here we are 8 days later. It was late last night, right about midnight actually, that authorities, for some reason, showed up at this house
Hey, thanks, Scott.
in the Rolling Fork neighborhood, Northwest Harris County, right outside the boundaries of Jersey Village. Something brought them to that house. We hope to learn, the details on that. But they showed up there late at night and did not want to wait until this morning to act on whatever information they had. They went
Keep
around
up the
back,
good
they
work.
found a vehicle parked back there. They opened up the trunk and found the body of Heidi Broussard, according to Heidi's mother. And then inside the home, found 1-month-old Margot unhurt.
Thankfully safe.
We don't know if this woman they have in custody was also in that house. We don't know if Christopher Green, the owner of the home, was there at that time either.
Correct.
Those are unanswered questions. We assume somebody was with that little baby, but
That's
can't tell you
interesting.
who with anybody.
I guess they stayed in
hopefully
different
they can fill
rooms
us
in the
on that
house.
here at this news conference at 2 o'clock. There's so many twists and turns,
Yeah.
so many unanswered questions, and people have been glued to this story. You know, this beautiful mom, beautiful baby, just gone.
So I was reading this long post. It might not, I don't know if there's verification, but it seems to fit this whole thing. Is that maybe she made it seem like she was pregnant with the guy she was living with, and
coming on and just
he didn't. Well, the thing that I read, it sounded like they didn't even really want to be. He didn't really even want to be with her, but to keep him, she pretended she was pregnant, and they stayed in different rooms. And we'll have to see if any of that's true.
We're just kind of giving you the things as they come in to our
It kind of makes
Don't do
sense
very
though,
often, but
to me,
this kind of interest, we wanted to
because
give
I've
you
seen
really
that the Kenda story was
speculating
absolutely
on stuff.
identical.
What we're giving you is stuff that either law enforcement's confirmed, sources in law enforcement have confirmed, or family members or neighbors.
I'm sure you
we're
did,
confident in
dog
what
shit.
We're bringing
Yeah.
to you, and we're leaving out the stuff that we can't
The
confirm.
what ifs.
And we get those questions a lot from you guys on
You briefly read about.
digital platforms. I'm
That's pretty
hearing
funny.
This, I'm reading this. Why aren't you talking about that? Well, because we can't confirm it.
And we do have a team working.
Hey,
on it as
Robbie
well. All those
Page.
questions that come in, those concerns, the things you're hearing, you're posting on social media. We have crews working to
Like they do
verify
have a. Let me
information
show you
so
what the
we
screen
will
looks
know
like
what has been
here.
confirmed and
Just
what is not, because things kind of spin out of control with social media and things people hear and thought they heard. So we want to make sure that when you hear it from us, that it
Yeah,
is
so you can
confirmed
see right over
information. So
here,
we do have people working
they're
on
waiting
that,
for
and
it.
Our investigative team as well, working on some elements for you for later newscasts.
Yeah, we have crews staked out all over the city. We have a couple
Yeah,
people down at the jail
KHOU 11, man. They've been all over
center,
this
waiting
from day
for,
one.
This woman in custody
Hey,
to
thanks,
either be moved
Celtic Wanderer.
or
I turned off the
jail or
notification
moved up
so
to
it doesn't
Austin or
interrupt
Travis
the.
County.
I mean
We
the
don't know what's
the
gonna happen.
dancing
We're
characters and
already
so
there.
forth.
We're out in that neighborhood near Jersey
So it doesn't
Village.
interrupt the
And then,
press
of course,
conference.
We have a couple of affiliates working with us in Austin to get the latest information from there, including providing this live stream of this press conference from Austin PD, expected to start any minute. If it's okay, Jaime, can we go ahead and run, and we're going to dump out of this if we have to, but let's go ahead and run this second neighbor. This is a guy who lives, I believe, next door as well to Christopher Green. And
Oh, they're already
Megan
5 minutes
Karuska.
late.
And let's hear what he had to say just about his interactions with Chris over the last several years. And again, we're going to
Yeah, no problem, Marlene.
leave the small box there with Austin PD, and we will dump out of this interview as soon as the police start their press conference. Go ahead.
Yeah, it just felt like he was telling the truth, didn't it? I mean, I was trying to come up with reasons he could be crying, but
all I've seen yesterday since I got back from work was law enforcement.
What's that?
Mostly Austin PD. But she really needs to.
Okay. Were they able to tell you anything about what was going on? Did you ask anybody?
No, I asked them a little bit about, what they might know, and all these, all they could tell me was that you might see it on the news tonight.
hey, thank you,
Being
Kim.
yesterday.
Seeing that outside your house, I mean, what was going through your mind? What is going through your mind now?
Well, we were postulating all different things and everything, somebody wanted or whatever. And then this thing about, the missing girl and her baby came up last night. That's so sad.
It sounds like it might have been the family that
Just
tipped
couldn't
off
believe
police.
something could happen right next door.
I guess they saw her baby and were like, you couldn't have a
That's
baby.
really
How did you have a baby?
all we-
And then they probably realized that she was also friends with
What about him? He's lived here 4 or 5 years.
Heidi.
Yeah, he's in
And
his
then
early 30s.
police started
He's
putting
a
things
nice guy.
together
I
at
mean,
that
I've
point.
talked to him probably less than 10 times in my life.
And I bet you the family may
Yeah.
have been what called CPS.
He seemed like a nice guy.
Always quiet neighbors.
But he
never
does
gave any-
drive a black SUV.
Hey, thanks, Eric E.
There's a woman that lives
He
there
called in
that
last
has
night.
lived with him maybe a year and a half or so.
Do they have any kids?
No, I never.
Okay, what did you see here yesterday? Can you explain a little bit?
All I've seen yesterday since I got back from work was law enforcement people, mostly Austin PD. But
They're interviewing a neighbor right now.
she really needs to.
Okay. Were they able to tell you anything about what was going on? Did you ask anybody?
Did they just loop
No, I asked them a little bit about, what they might know, and all these, all they could tell me was that you might
Gatorade.
see it on the news tonight, being yesterday.
No, I don't work for
Seeing that
Gatorade.
outside
Yeah.
your house, I mean, what was going through your mind? What is going through your mind now?
Well, we were postulating all
And if you
different
notice,
things,
Blue
everything,
is back in his little
somebody
sleeping area
wanted
because
or
I
whatever.
put Chloe in her crate.
And then this thing about, the missing girl
His
and her
sleeping
baby
area,
came up
sorry about that.
last night. That's so sad. It's just hard to believe something could happen right next door. But
What kind of a psycho would actually
all we can
do
say-
that, though? Just think about that for a
Can you
minute.
talk a little bit about him? He's lived here for
God.
5 years, you said?
Yeah,
You
he's
want to
in
be
his
with the
early
guy so
30s.
badly that
Nice
you have to
guy.
convince
I've
him that
talked to
you're
him probably less than 10
pregnant by
times in
actually
my life.
stealing
And
a
he,
baby and then killing the
seemed like a
mom.
nice guy.
Always quiet neighbors.
But
never
he
gave
does drive a black SUV.
That's crazy.
But he does drive a black SUV. There's a woman that lives there that has lived with him maybe a year and a half or so.
Do they have any kids?
No, I never saw any kids.
Just
Did you know if she was pregnant, the woman that lives here?
I didn't know, no. Although I kind of suspected she, when I did see her, she was, a little bigger than she was. And she looked like she might be pregnant, but I didn't know for sure.
But
That's
they
her
never
right
gave
there.
any
Mm.
trouble, they never-
No,
Wow, gorgeous.
Not a bit. I mean, he was a pretty nice guy. He'd ask me about yard work and, what kind of plants and stuff.
So this was a national. This case made national news with the missing mother and her
Yeah.
from Austin. So when you saw Austin PD, did you make that connection? Or
No,
was it
not
until
at that
last
time.
night?
Not until last night. I mean, when we saw the Austin PD, we just thought it was some, somebody wanted in Austin or something. But,
And you said they were searching through her car last night?
no, her car
How the
has
heck is it?
apparently been in the backyard the whole time. She drives it,
Oh, there.
or he drives it, or somebody in between the house and
Yeah,
the
there's
garage
still
apartment.
nobody at the podium. Don't know what's going on. I don't know why they're not at the podium at this point.
We're back up? Okay, great. That was a second neighbor there as we wait for Austin PD here in their press conference to update us on this case. Both neighbors saying something very similar. If you were with us a little while ago, a woman
Yeah.
who lived next door as well.
Appears she got a bit of.
Talked to Christopher Green, the owner of the home.
Yeah, well, the thing is that she needed to portray she was
But
pregnant.
neither ever
So if she
talked
really
to
wasn't pregnant and had a
Elizabeth,
miscarriage or anything like
who
that,
lived there
That means she just sat around and ate pizzas for about months after months and ice cream. Man, I wish I could do that.
In this case. So both neighbors saying roughly the same thing, that they were never any bother, that he appeared to be a nice guy, neighborly,
I guess my stomach
waved,
wanting
about
to
things
eat ice
occasionally,
cream.
Not super talkative, but they would see him come and go to work, and that they never spoke to her.
Yeah, that's what I was reading.
Come in and out of
I
the
don't
house,
think she...
because
Early
she was
last
there
night in the rumor mill stage, they said she was pregnant and had a
about a year or
miscarriage.
so. That seemed
But,
fairly consistent
yeah,
as well. We're
that was during the
upstairs,
rumor
they zoom in
mill.
on the
So
door
let's see what
in
happened there.
Austin. Maybe something's about to happen there, but we have it up, and we're going to take that full and take it live for you as soon as the investigators in Austin there are ready to give us.
Why don't you just...
on this?
They should just make the screen live
Every
and
law
then...
enforcement agency involved here
talk in the
has
background.
deferred to Austin. The federal agencies, FBI, the Texas Rangers, Harris County
So we're
Sheriff's
just waiting
Office,
with you guys so we can
everybody
get the
involved in this
actual
has
information.
Really not said much about
My favorite ice
anything that's
cream...
happened here in the last
Well,
12
I have
hours.
two favorite ice creams. One is
Deferring to
chocolate mint
Austin
chip,
since
and the
that's
other
where
one
Heidi
is
Broussard lived.
peanut butter and
That's where
chocolate.
she's from, and that's
The
where
Reese's
she
one.
started.
It's so
She
good.
disappeared 8 days ago.
You combine them
So,
together, you know.
we are waiting for an update from them, and we expect
Oh, here we go.
those answers from investigators. Let's go live now to Austin with the update.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming
Oh,
out
turn it up.
for
Oh,
an
man.
update on the investigation
Here we go.
to the missing mother and child from here in Austin. I appreciate your patience
Not sure
in
why
waiting
it's
for this
echoing.
briefing today. I want to introduce a few of the folks that are here with me that will be speaking at this press conference today. I have Special Agent in charge of the FBI, Christopher Combs. I have Margaret Moore, the Travis County District Attorney. With us representing DPS is Todd Snyder, who
Is
is
it
the
echoing
regional
for you guys?
director, and then Austin Police Department
is for me.
Detective Brad Harries. I want to identify at the beginning of this press conference that we will go against our standard practice of taking questions at the end of this press conference because this is still a very active and ongoing
I remember him from
investigation.
the
We have multiple
Austin
teams
bombing.
of investigators that are at different jurisdictions as we speak in this room today that are still investigating this case. So we are going to give you all of the information that we can share at this point. We understand there is a tremendous amount of interest in this case, but we're going to give you all the information that we can, and we commit to you that we will give you updates as we can without impacting the integrity of this investigation. It is heartbreaking circumstances that bring us here today. As you all are well aware that there has been a lot that has developed in the overnight hours. This all began back on December 12th when 33-year-old Heidi Broussard and infant daughter, 2-week-old baby Margot Casey, were last seen as they dropped off their sibling and their son at school, and we have been investigating their disappearance since that time. On Tuesday, APD Detective Harries gave a very thorough briefing to the media on what had been developed at that point through the investigation, and there's a lot that has happened since that time. Most notably, the events that took place out in the Houston and Harris County area overnight and into the early morning hours today. Detective Harries will give you a briefing here momentarily, updating the specifics of what took place. But what we will confirm at this point is that we did recover an infant female child that we do believe at this time is Margot. However, we are awaiting the results of DNA testing to confirm that identity, and that testing may take us between 48 and 72 hours to get that confirmation. Additionally, we recovered the body of an adult female. We do believe that this is Miss Broussard. However, again, we are awaiting the results of the autopsy to confirm her identity. We do have one person that has been arrested and charged. The charges that have been filed at this point are 2 charges of kidnapping and 1 charge of tampering with a corpse. We are not confirming the identity of the suspect at this time. I do understand that there are pictures being circulated and names being circulated in the media. However, we're not going to confirm, again, to protect the integrity of this ongoing investigation. There may be additional charges that are filed in this case as the investigation carries on, and that will be determined as we develop more information and uncover more evidence. This was a tremendous undertaking by many different divisions that I will recognize before Detective Harries comes up and gives a briefing. Several units from the Austin Police Department participated in this investigation, to include our Homicide Division, our Missing Persons Division, our Special Investigations Unit, our Robbery Unit, our Violent Crimes Task Force, our Organized Crime Division. The Texas DPS Rangers were involved, the Travis County District Attorney's Office, the FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team, their CARD squad was here, Texas Parks and Wildlife, Travis County Search and Rescue, and Child Protective Services, all pulled together to appears that we had, and that is with a loss of life. And although we are grateful that it appears as though we have safely recovered baby Margot, again, we do believe that Ms. Broussard lost her life in this incident. Detective Harries will now come up and give you a briefing on the events that have taken place in this investigation over the past 24 hours.
Good afternoon. My name is Brad Harries. I'm a detective with the Austin Police Department Cold Case Homicide and Missing Persons Unit. I'm going to go through a brief timeline of the events that have happened in the past 7 or 8 days. This is not all-inclusive. On Thursday, December 12th, 2019, Heidi Broussard, she's a 33-year-old white female, and her 2-week-old baby, Margot, were last seen dropping off Heidi's 6-year-old child at his school at Cowan Elementary. Heidi and Margot are believed to have returned to their residence in the area of William Cannon and South First at approximately 7:30 in the morning on December 12th. The complainant arrived home, found that Heidi, his girlfriend, and Margot, his daughter, were not home. As the day progressed, the complainant went to pick up their 6-year-old child from after-school activities and found that Margot was not there. The complainant became alarmed and contacted the Austin Police Department along with friends and family trying to find the location of his girlfriend and daughter. The Austin Police Department was contacted at approximately 7:31 p.m. on December 12th. Officers on scene began an investigation. They searched for them both there in the complex, conducted preliminary investigations, and contacted me that evening on December 12th, 2019. At that time, a BOLO was issued. That's a be on the lookout within our department. Both were entered into national and statewide databases as missing, and their information was dispersed throughout the community using a reverse 911 system that reached over 4,000 people in that area. Their images and descriptions were released to the media later in the morning of December 13th, 2019. We utilized various resources and legal processes in the attempt to locate Heidi and Margot. This has been an ongoing process with numerous warrants that have been approved and executed in the search for them. We have spoken with family, with friends, with coworkers, with neighbors. We have canvassed the areas that we know them to have been in. We have done video canvasses of any areas that we have believed them to have been in. We conducted video surveillance in association with some of our federal and statewide partners. We have done extensive video collection, online and social media research, interviews, phone calls, and these investigations have gone across Texas and gone across out-state lines. NCMEC, one of our partners, released a nationwide flyer with images depicting Margot and Heidi. As we progress through this investigation, local, state, and federal partners followed tips and leads that were provided by the public. We received numerous calls to our tip lines, notifications online, of various tips of people who thought they had seen Heidi or Margot, had information related to their location, and those tips were vetted and explored and investigated fully. As the week progressed, this current week, a lead was generated that created a location of interest in the Houston area in Harris County. Federal, state, and local resources deployed to that area of Harris County and began to investigate a residence there. Ultimately, those investigators encountered an individual outside of that residence who was detained on Thursday, December 19th, 2019. As the evening progressed, a search warrant was issued for property at that residence, both vehicles and the residence. Those search warrants were signed and were carried out by the Austin Police Department, Department of Public Safety, and with assistance from the Federal Bureau of Investigation as we conducted those searches. During that search, we located a baby who is currently safe, currently healthy, who is currently in the care of Child Protective Services. That child's visual appearance is consistent with that of baby Margot. As the search continued, officers located a deceased adult female on the property. And as Chief Manley said earlier, early indications would lead us to believe that that is Heidi. The property in Houston continues to be an active scene. We are investigating multiple locations between Austin and Houston and in the surrounding areas with the assistance of the FBI, state-level partners with DPS, the Texas Rangers, and the Harris County Sheriff's Office. The Harris County Medical Examiner's Office is conducting an autopsy today of the deceased adult female to determine the cause of death, determine the manner of death. And as that information is released to us investigators, we will continue our investigation of this event. As Chief Manley said, an arrest has been made in this case. The charges are 2 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of tampering with a corpse. The total bond for the 3 charges is $600,000. That person is
that means they know it's murder.
Is in custody as we speak.
For those
As I
charges.
said, this is an ongoing and active investigation. If you have any information related to the disappearance of Heidi Broussard or her 2-week, now 3-week-old daughter, Margot,
homicide,
we ask that you contact the Austin Police Department at 512-974-5250. Yes, last name Herries, first name Brad, B-R-A-D. I'm a detective.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christopher Combs. I'm the FBI Special Agent in charge. It's been a horrible week here in Austin. We had all prayed that we would be able to find Heidi alive. Unfortunately, as the Chief expressed, we don't believe that is the case. We are very thankful, though, that through the combined efforts here, we were able to recover baby Margot, and the baby seems to be in very good health.
See, he just confirmed.
Everybody asks, how do we do these things? How are we able to do that?
Accidentally.
Some of that, we can't discuss openly right now because it's ongoing. But I just wanted to stress that these recoveries happen because of dogged police work, where the Austin Police Department, their missing persons unit, has done an incredible job in combination with the Texas Rangers and with the assets that the FBI was able to bring to bear. It really is through that partnership of those agencies, with a lot of other help from a lot of other agencies, that we were able to recover that baby, which really is one of the greatest things I think we could do is to save a child. One of the things we brought to bear in this particular case is something called the FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team. These are national teams that the FBI has around the country. That
CPS got involved because
at the request of our state and local partners,
they were called
whenever a child is abducted. We were able to bring that team here to Austin and work next to the detectives and the Rangers to bring this case to closure and to recover that child. The CARD teams were developed back in 2006, and through this investigation, they've deployed 167 times. What that team really brings to bear is that expertise of being through so many of these abductions, knowing how they work.
Oops. Not sure why it's pausing. Hold on a second. Oops. Jeez. Hold on a second. Gotta reload this up. It's like frozen on the screen. But I think we got the gist of it. Let me see if I got another one here.
Signal froze up there, but we're going to get another signal coming in here in just a second. Get you right back to the press conference there. We were hearing from the FBI Special Agent in charge about their involvement, the federal involvement in this case. Are we back?
M-O-O-R-E. I'm like Special Agent in charge. Combs, I wish we had
I don't know where the
completely
hell it
good
is.
news today, but I am proud of the efforts that have taken place here. I think it's a demonstration of the dedication of law enforcement and the DA's office that we spend, once the call came in, we were working on it 24/7. I want to commend the dedicated lawyers in my office, two of whom are standing here with me today. We established a major crimes hotline when I took office, and these attorneys take on this responsibility in addition to their regular duties, so they are on call 24/7. And we got this call. They've been working day in and day out with law enforcement to assist in getting the papers that were needed to conduct the searches and other pieces of the investigation. We will continue to be involved in this investigation, of course, as we evaluate what, if any, additional charges need to be brought. I always feel very privileged to work with these dedicated individuals, and I'm also pleased to be able to tell the citizens of this county how collaborative and thorough law enforcement is as we work on these major cases. I also would like to thank the Harris County District Attorney, Kim Ogg. Her office extended us every courtesy and assistance that we needed down there. So and I expect that to continue. So, thank you for being here.
I remember this guy was in the
And as we wrap
Austin
up the
bombing.
press
Remember
conference
that?
today, I just want to express the heartfelt condolences of everyone you see standing here with me, our community, our department, that we did not have 2 rescues, but only 1, it appears. And our hearts and our minds are with Heidi and her family today and as we go forward. I appreciate you respecting that we cannot take questions because we've given you everything we can at this point, and we are committed to providing you with additional information at which time we can, when it will not impact the further and ongoing investigations. I will say, though, that Special Agent in Charge, Christopher Combs, will do individual interviews if you have questions regarding the CARD team and their operations, but I will reiterate that it is only about the CARD team and their operations, and no questions regarding the investigation or the occurrences will be handled if you choose to do one of those individuals. So thank you all again for coming out, for covering this, and we are committed to giving you information when we can. Thank you.
Can Special Agent just give us this phone?
Yeah, all right. There you go. Crazy. I mean, that's just really sad, to be honest with you. And the thing is there are people that are still commenting that could Shane be involved, right? Well, I mean, I guess it's technically possible. I just think the odds are way lower now, don't you? Can everybody at least agree that the odds of Shane being involved are dramatically and almost to the point where it's like 1% chance that he had something to do with it? Okay, so yeah, I mean, I can't technically say. It's just like that when I do these cases, people go, Gray, listen. Is it possible that aliens did this? And I have to say, well, I guess given the fact that there's trillions of stars out there with planets going around them, one of them might have the technology to fly here, and they could have actually done it. So it's possible, 1 in 5 trillion, but yep. And as soon as you give them the yep answer, they go, yeah. Okay, I'm not saying this is that type of odds, but I think it's very low chance now. Very low. I mean, try to come up with a scenario that makes sense. They were working together. He never wanted the child, so therefore he, the friend of Heidi came up and said, hey, I was thinking I wanted a baby. And then he goes, well, she's going to have it. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. All right, everybody? Hey, thanks, Apocalypse Fraud. Now you have the blue next to your name. And 30 days after it started, it'll switch over to Chloe. Yeah, that part's weird, isn't it? Like, why in the hell did... why is the body still in the trunk? Maybe she just didn't have any way to dispose of it. Yeah, you know, as crude as that sounds. What do you guys think? I mean, it actually opens the door to... Well, I don't think Heidi would have been alive. She would have made noise. But it seems weird that you would keep the body in the car for so long. Wouldn't you have thought of disposing of the body right away and just have the kid? Maybe there was some guilt there and she didn't really want to do that. Yeah, awkward occurrence is an awkward person. I've been reading their comments just wondering, wow. Yeah. Man, he doesn't seem like a bad character. He might not be somebody that you like, and all the friends dumped on him, you know, after the fact, when it seemed like, oh, wow, we can all dump on him because maybe he did it. Who knows? We don't know anything about their lives, how it was, okay? She got back together with him for some reason. And that's just the way it is. She'll probably get some defense attorney that will bring up medical experts. You know, if she did lose, let's say she was pregnant at one time and had a miscarriage. They'll be able to sell that to people like, yeah, see what happens is it starts changing your hormone levels, and then what this can happen. And she's completely normal now, everybody. Yeah. No, she's a psycho, okay? Right up there with the best of them. Or the worst, I guess. One of these. A Dahmer type. Not really. But. Right. Something crazy. They'll probably invent some sort of a diagnosis for this one. You know, postpartum, not having a baby... she wanted a baby so bad that her mind thought she was pregnant, and then she even gave birth in her mind to a child, and therefore this is actually sort of a Munchausen proxy yeah, watch some crazy thing like that. Yeah, so yeah, that's what she'll say. Wow, I thought I was pregnant for so long, and I even visualized myself giving birth, and then I ended up killing the mother instead of the child in some sort of a weird reverse Munchausen by proxy postpartum depression syndrome-ish thing. Okay, there you go. Yeah. Now she definitely will not get the death penalty. She'll get something less. I'm just going to say right now, they'll be able to sell something, some sort of a psychological defect. Watch. Even though it's Texas. You know, they actually have that car, I think. I'm going to take one more look at that car from Street View. I think that is her car. Even though this is from November. Yep. See, I was just checking. It does have that little raise in the back, too. So that's the trunk, I think, that her body was found in right there. This actual vehicle right there. Because this is November 2018. And yes, a car didn't just appear there. This is satellite imagery turned in... Oh, wait, you can't see shit. Sorry. Hey, you guys got to witness me not knowing that I'm on the wrong screen. Okay, So here is the street view, or this is the satellite imagery, and I don't know what year this is, so I don't know what car that is. But if you go down to street view here, and you zoom in, that car right there appears to be the exact same car that's in the footage that we see often. And so, and this image right here is from November 2018, and it could very well be that her body is in that trunk right there. Yep, can't see, yep. I wish, you know, we need to have a free chat button that you can click and it goes like a buzzer. So it'll alert me that something's going wrong. Yeah, Asperger's syndrome. Yeah, what he's saying, he's not saying the other one, he's saying ass, like A-S-S, burger. Okay, for anybody listening, that wasn't a diss. And apparently I have that. That's what I was told on another channel. So, hey. I guess it's when I'm doing my show and I'm going like this. When I'm kind of going like this. That's an indication, right? Oh. Is that right, Gray? Yeah. Well, it was another YouTuber. They were just goofing around. But, well, I don't know if they were goofing around when they said it, but yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah. Well, thanks. All right. No, I don't. I do not have that, Amy. That's what Laura said on her show. She goes, I really think, you know, it's like, what the hell are you talking about? My God. Right. So apparently don't go like this. Hey, thanks, Barbara. Barbara Smith, a moderator on this channel and a moderator on, let's see, it's called Agenda Free TV, which
cheap steak for Chloe to give to Blue.
And he doesn't really ever give his opinion very much on there, so it is agenda free. I don't think I could ever do that. I mean, I could probably do the same thing that he does, but I would definitely have opinions on things.
Thanks for all you do.
I don't think having an opinion makes you have an agenda either. It means that you're literally seeing things. Hey, thank you. Thanks, Goldie K. Wasn't it Goldie Khan or something before? If I remember right. What's going on? Who's barking? There's Blue. I don't know if you can see him. Yep. That's right. It was like Goldie Khan. Yeah, I thought it was before. Yeah, there was like, if a car drives on the street, he makes a sound every time. He'll go. Sometimes it's a little strange sound too. Here. Now you can't see. See how he's looking out at the door? He hears something. Okay, well, I think that's about it for the press conference. Obviously, what do you guys? What is your take? What do you think happened here? It's interesting. The purse is in her car. You know what it makes you think about? Well, here's the thing. Her friend lives 130 miles away. So how could it be a scenario where, for example, Heidi went to that person's house first, and then the car was dropped off later? See, that's a scenario that would make a little bit of sense. If she only lived, let's say the friend lived 15 miles away, right? And then the friend calls her up and says, hey, do you want to come by? And then she drives over there. Although I guess the car seat wouldn't have made it home. Yeah, see, there's a lot of stuff. So that means she made it home. The car seat's in the house, but her purse is in the vehicle. So how did that happen? How did her purse get in the vehicle? Hear that sound? Blue, he's going nuts. Yeah, well, it's obvious that her car would be seen in the area, right? I mean, I think that they had surveillance of cars pulling into the parking lot. But what I'm saying is, how did her purse end up in the car? Did she pull up right when she got home, and then somehow they went inside first, dropped off the car seat, or did she just normally leave her purse in the car? And then they went up into the house, and then maybe the friend knocked on the door, went in, and then had a gun on them or something, ordered them into her car. I don't know. It just seems really weird here. Because how would any of this happen during the day? It must have been really well planned out, that part of it. But then you didn't really think at all about how to dispose of her body because it was still in the trunk of your vehicle a week later. Yeah. Really, really strange stuff. Hey, Blue, come on, bud. It's all right. His ears are perked. Yeah, like the door's unlocked of her house. Her purse is in the... So that means she was almost forced out at gunpoint, but like the gun was hidden. Forced to get into a car, and then the entire 130-mile drive. So how about this scenario then? While she's in the car, they drive they drive somewhere else a short distance, and then she's killed, put in the trunk, and then the baby is now in the front seat. It does feel like there would have to almost be a second person, right? Because let's say she's killed in the vehicle. How would she move a body that weighs 150 pounds out of the car and get it into the back and get it into the trunk? Yeah. Yeah, so like she got in the car with her willingly. Well, no, she didn't. So she's in her apartment, and then the friend comes in, forces her out at gunpoint, but concealed, like under a coat type of thing. Like, hey, just do what I say. Come on. And then the door's just shut behind him. Nobody's going to take the time to lock the... hey, Blue. Well, no, that's not Blue. That was Chloe that time. And so you would just shut the door behind you. You go down the stairs, but then again, why is the purse in the car? Is that something that she just does, I guess? Baby was in a car seat while committing the crime. Right, exactly. They wouldn't care about that. Almost it feels like there would have to be a second person, but I guess we'll find that out later. I don't know. Sounds like the books and everything made it inside the house. Yeah, what was it that somebody said? It made a lot of sense the other day. It was something about... Oh yeah, she gets out of the car, and the first thing you have to do is you would unload your baby. And maybe she had the books, like maybe what Ada is just saying. I just read that. But maybe she unloads the baby and the books on the first trip, and then was going to go back down to get her purse, but then was confronted at her door. Does that make sense? So she brings the books and the stroller up into the house. Then, right as she's about ready to go back out, she's confronted at the door, and I don't know. She may have even left the door unlocked to go back down to get the purse, and then outside was confronted. But then the baby would be upstairs. I don't know. Yeah. Really strange. It's going to be cool to... what could have been in her pocket? Yeah. That was her very first day alone with the child. There's definitely no mother would leave a child in the car to bring up the books first. So that means she went upstairs, dropped the child off in the car seat, perhaps, and the books, and then went back down. I guess if this is the case, then I might lose that one bet. I mean, but I don't know though, because my bet is that it was two completely different time frames. But if you have like something happens to the mother, Heidi put into the car, then they go back up and get the child out of the house, I think that's sort of in a nebulous area there in terms of the bet. Right, that's right, and the dog was on the balcony. What do you mean? So he can't get the baby? The dog? Was that unusual that the dog was out on the porch? Did Shane make it seem that way?
I forgot to send a message. Love you, Gray. Red heart, red heart.
Well, thank you, Shirley. Appreciate it. Shirley, what is that? Aisha? Yeah, Aisha, right? Maybe. I mean, she lives 150 miles away-ish. So I don't know if that's somebody you would give keys to. You know, usually you would give keys to somebody living close to help out in a pinch for something. All right, cool. Yeah. Is that good, Bumblebee? Threat to her. Right. So the purse was still in the car because I was going to be on a different trip down, maybe. I don't know. God, it's just really sort of baffling. I mean, I understand the friendship part, drop somebody's guard down, but there's indications of foul play early. You know, leaving your door unlocked and having your purse in the vehicle are two unusual things. Now, don't go, well, I leave mine in my purse. Well, I don't give a damn, okay? That's not normal, though. Like, everybody doesn't leave their purse in. So you have two indications of foul play. Your purse in their car, and all of her other stuff upstairs, the car seat, and the door unlocked. And yet this is somebody that she knew. So something happened right in that area. Hey, Top Cop. Well, I've heard both. Unlocked and open, but I think it might have just been unlocked. Right. Here's the thing, everybody. If you leave your purse in your car, just expect, as you leave it in there, that your car will be broken into. Okay? Just expect it. Because that's the society we live in. What you probably want to do is if you really want to leave your purse in the car, just cover it with something mundane like a towel. Most people won't break into a car to see what's under the towel. If you can see the purse, they're going to break in. Well, Gray, I leave my purse in my garage in the car. Okay, well, in that case, if it's in the garage, go ahead and leave your purse in the car, all right? Nah, but even if you have a house and your car's parked outside, you just don't ever want to do it. Because people walk up and down the neighborhoods, they check your car doors. That's actually safer for them, to be honest with you. In an apartment complex, you have a lot of people watching and looking around. Well, somebody with that name surely is the friend of Heidi, who was just arrested and had the child at her house. Okay? Or how about I'll play that audio clip from earlier from KHOU 11. If it worked.
Vehicle, her purse, keys, phone, everything you would expect somebody to have, but she and her then approximately 3-week-old baby Margot were gone. No sign of them. Then we'll just fast forward to late last night. For some reason, authorities were put on a house in northwest Harris County, just a few blocks east of the Jersey Village neighborhood. Rolling Fork is the name.
And by
of
the way, she
neighborhood
was at the
where
birth.
They showed up
apparently
at this home, and there, inside a vehicle, in the trunk of a vehicle parked around back, they found a body, and inside the home, they found an infant girl.
Okay, so that's sort of the main information right there. It sounds like, though, that this person was actually at the birth of Heidi's child, Margot.
Heidi Broussard's mom has confirmed to our CBS station in Austin that the body was Heidi and that the child found was Margot. Margot, okay, taken to a hospital to be checked out overnight, but we're told unhurt and now in the legal custody of CPS, the state of Texas.
But why not Shane?
There's a woman in custody facing charges of kidnapping and tampering with a corpse. She has not yet been arraigned. We're told her name is Megan Firamuska, 33 years old, from the Houston area, a close friend of Heidi's, and according to sources, had plotted to take Margot from Heidi even before Margot had even been born. She was so close to Heidi that she was there for the birth, and now in police custody. Police telling us they believe that she may have had help, the person who did that.
You know, I think that echoing earlier was actually from the streaming source, because this isn't echoing now.
Yes, may have had help. Megan Firamuska has not been charged with murder. She's been charged in connection with the death, kidnapping and tampering with a corpse.
Yeah, kidnapping and tampering with a corpse. $600,000. Man, that's massive. So they must know, they obviously know that she's involved with the death, right? The murder. It's going to be a homicide, and, it's pretty obvious. I'm just wondering if there's anybody else involved.
But nothing more serious than that yet. And that's typical in a lot of these cases. So not unusual in that respect for charges to start off like this and then get more serious as the investigation continues. It's 11:30. We're going to let you go here. We don't have any new information that's come in the last several minutes, so we won't take any more of your time.
Yeah, but what if Heidi was made to go by herself from the apartment down, and then then why wouldn't you take the car seat? See, there's stuff that doesn't make sense here. It almost feels like she was at home for a while, in a way. Because let me ask you this. I don't think that Heidi would go up. I think she would leave the child in the car seat and then go down and get her purse if that's what she was going to go do. Wouldn't you? I mean, because it's safe, it's easy. You just put the car seat on the ground and then you go back down. And then when the abduction happened, why didn't the other person take the car seat, I guess? I don't know. Or maybe the baby was taken out of the car seat first, put into a crib or something like that. And then she went down to go get her purse. Yeah. Yeah, there might not be anybody else involved, but it just seems like to put a 150-pound woman into a dead body into a trunk, unless she was forced to get into the trunk and then shot while in the trunk, a little bit like the case that we what the hell was that one? J.B. Beasley, Tracy Howlett case in Alabama, where they were in the trunk and then, I guess, shot while in the trunk. If my memory's right. It's been so long now. Right, so if she was put in the trunk after, let's say, well, how was she put in there? I mean, that's 150-pound dead weight. I guess it's possible. You just lift up, put part of the body in. You know, you do it in stages, I guess. Yeah, it's hard to say. We know right now for sure that she's involved because the baby was at her house and there's a dead body in her car in her trunk. Okay, so she's involved. Whether there's somebody else or not, we don't know. It just feels like there could be, but then why would somebody else help her do that? Unless, let me ask you this. Who in the world would help her do that unless it was actually the boyfriend? I mean, he's the only one with even the slightest possible, and when I say boyfriend, I mean Megan's boyfriend, okay? He's the only one with even the slightest possible reason to help. See? But if he didn't help, who would help? I mean, it's like, what a stupid thing to do to get involved with just to help a friend. Yeah, I know. I mentioned that earlier, Ada. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think this is going to be it because I don't really have any more to add to it. I don't want to keep slogging around for 3 hours just to keep randomly talking. I think that is, right now it's just sort of what actually happened at the apartment. I'd really like to know how that went down. Hopefully she'll tell the truth at some point. It'd be interesting, and we're just going to have to wait and see if there's any more people involved, all right? All right. Well, I think that's true, Robin. That's what we've been saying. That maybe her guard was down, but you got to look that there's some strangeness going on with her purse in her car and her door unlocked. So that's something that doesn't seem like she would do. So it would have happened after that. After being coaxed out of the apartment, or even before that, because why wouldn't you lock the door behind you? If you knew, unless you knew you were thinking you were coming right back up, and that's the whole purse in the car thing, where she was just going to go back down now and get the purse because she put the books and the car seat up in the apartment and then had to go down and get her purse. So she would leave the door unlocked, leaving. So somewhere going down the stairs or in that, somewhere out there is where she was confronted and then maybe made to go into the car. Then the person who abducted her went back up, grabbed the child, then brought the child to the car as well, and then took off. Or maybe there was even why was the dog out on the porch too? I don't know, it's crazy. Is that what they normally do, I guess? Okay, everybody. Well, listen, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And make sure to hit that notification bell. We cover all kinds of different cases, not just this one. Okay, there's lots and lots of interesting cases going on out there. Cold cases, current crimes, etc., etc. Okay, so I think that is going to be it for the show, and we'll be on later this evening, as usual. And if there's any updates, we'll be sure to share them. But if there's no updates, then I might do a recap, and that'll be about it. And we'll move on to some other things, okay? I know it's cool and fun to just sit there and talk endlessly about something, but when you don't have any new information, you start treading down the road of wild speculation at that point. All right. So I guess that's it, everybody. Let me, I need some music or something playing to end this out. Oh, there we go. All right, it was kind of loud. Before I leave, I want to say thank you to Shogun Love, who just became a member today, Melf SM, who became a member today, and Oogla Boogla Freak, Barbara Smith, Melf SM with a nice donation there. Thank you very much. Jim Bino, Super Chat, Daniel S, Super Chat, Apocalypse Fra, Scott M, the Celtic Wanderer, Kim, Eric E, who called in last night with the crazy, brutal abuse story. We didn't listen to it, but we talked for a while. And then Apocalypse Fra became a member, Oogla Boogla Freak, Daniel S became a member, and Barbara Smith, Super Chat, Goldie K, Shirley Aisha, and Shirley Aisha again. All right. Thank you guys very much. Really appreciate it. Just kind of reading my screen there. My face probably turned white because that's the color of the screen. All right, everybody. Thank you for showing up. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.